Sean, a bit of a team news update first of all, I guess. Any injury news on Ryan Yates after the weekend?
Yeah, Yates has got a situation with his hamstring that's not going to be quick. It's not. We don't think it's too serious in the sense of needing anything doing, but I think it's going to be a slow one, that one. So we'll wait and see. Other people, Mats has got a tight groin, so we're going to have to be careful with that one. Hopefully that will sell quickly. But it's a precaution one to make sure that we try and give him the best chance for the weekend as well. Woody's making progress, which is good. He's on the grass and he's had a couple of days on the grass, and it's still a bit of a slow burner, that one. It's not going to be immediate, but he's back out there and just starting the process. So that's good news. And then, as you can see from the squad, there's players coming back into this squad. It's not the perfect way back in, I don't think, going straight back into competitive action as in the Europa League and the Premier League, but as everyone knows, we've got a massive game schedule, so we're going to have to use these players wisely and make sure that we can build them back into what you call total fitness by using as many games as we can, as many bodies as we can. So
Zinchenko and Louise and Bakwa, are they in contention for tomorrow? Or are they?
Yeah, no, they're in the squad, yeah, and then we'll make a decision on it. I think more so with Zinni and Douglas because their depth of knowledge of their bodies and depth of knowledge of playing, and their experience. So and Bakwa's still coming back from an injured period, but yeah, I mean we certainly spoke to them about how they're feeling, and they said they're feeling good and up for the challenge that comes their way.
Must be a blow to be without Ryan just because of what he brings to the squad and the dressing room as much as anything.
Yeah, and he's been pushing for a start. We know that he's played very well when he's needed, and I thought he certainly did against Malmo as well. And very unfortunate, because it was one of them strange ones where there wasn't a lot to it, and then just pulled up. So yeah, it's very unfortunate for him. And just as we're getting bodies back, you're hoping not to lose any more. And unfortunately, we've certainly lost him for a bit. Excuse me.
Big game tomorrow night. Switching attention back to the Europa League. How do you find you're kind of getting that balance now between trying to do well in the Premier League and the European games?
Well, there's been patches of it. Obviously, with the game schedule, whatever competition it is a challenge. But I think we've shown that the team can operate. And when I got here, I spoke to the squad, albeit we had lots of injuries then, and some are getting back fit. But about a squad mentality, it is going to need that with all these games coming, particularly over this winter period. So, I think that is going to be the case, and I think the squad players have shown, or the squad, have shown that they are up for it with their performances. If they haven't played in the Premier League, they've delivered in this competition. Clean sheets so far, that's been important, and scoring goals. So we've got to find that balance again tomorrow night.
I guess injuries have hampered you a little bit in terms of that rotation. Players that you perhaps might like to have rested, you haven't always been able to. Has that been difficult?
Yeah, of course, because you want to use your squad wisely. I think some very good players here who haven't started all the Premier League games, but they're still very good players. And the good side of it is, well, if you've got a fully fit squad, the good side of it is players are getting lots of football. Whichever competition you're playing in. The obvious challenge has been the injury list, and it's beginning to get better. We lost Yates, but there's a couple here today. Three here today that you've mentioned. Who, it's pleased to see them back in the squad, and we've just got to try and manage them through this sort of crossover period to full, or what you call total fitness. So that's going to be the next step.
I guess after a defeat, you always want a game to come quickly. You've got that. Is that quite helpful?
Yeah, I think. I always speak to the players about the ups and downs, the ins and outs. The facts are the facts. That schedule isn't going to change. That's the challenge. Whatever competition we're playing in, our mindset's got to be right, and we've got to go and deliver.
Any questions for James? Or for the coach?
You might get away with that, bit, mate. You might get away with the clean one here.
Hi coach, Jeroen Kaptein, Telegraaf newspaper. Ibrahim Sangaré is a very well-known player in Holland because he used to play for PSV Eindhoven. Last year he had some difficulties, didn't play so much. This year he's playing much more. How do you see his season till now?
Yeah, I mean, we're learning about the players. We know about certain players because we've seen them over the last few years in the Premier League. He hasn't played as much football for different reasons, a few injuries, but he's done very well since we've been here. And I remember at Sturm, I thought he laid down a big marker about what he was about because I thought he was terrific. And then, his performances after that, and he's done very well. So yeah, I mean, he's another player who, I've been impressed with lots of the players here. It's not just him. I mean, one thing, there's results, of course. We're in a results business, but you've equally got to look at the quality you've got. And I think we've got some very, very good players here.
What's your impression of FC Utrecht? What they've been performing this season?
I mean, I don't know everything about this league that they play in, but I know they've had a little softer spell. They've had 3 draws, I think it is, in this competition, Europa League. They haven't done as well in the sense of getting the wins, but it doesn't mean these games are easy. No game's easy anyway. And if you're in this competition, you're a good side. So we've got to make sure that we're on our performance level. Of course, we've made the players aware of how they play and some of the tactical idea, but equally, alongside that, it comes down to our mentality to go and take the game on. And so far in this competition, I think that's been very clear, and we've done well with our performances. We've got to go and do that again.
And well-known goalkeeper from Utrecht, Hans van Breukelen, was also goalkeeper at Nottingham Forest. You know him, or you never heard of him?
No, I didn't know. I don't know.
In the 80s.
Yeah, I know some of the players from them, but not all of them. I'm not that old.
He was Peter Shilton was before him, so Peter Shilton.
I certainly know Peter Shilton. Yes.
Thank you.
At the back.
This afternoon, Ron Jans, the manager of FC Utrecht, sat and he said he has respect for you and the way you put fighting football in your squad. What do you know about Ron Jans?
Not so much, actually. I mean, my career has been dominated by the Premier League, so I've only had one spell working outside of that with Burnley Football Club, and we had a little spell of some of the sort of a little mini foray into Europe, if you like, but not in this impact with this amount of games in Europe. So I think it's good for me as a manager as well, a coach, to learn about the different styles, the different players, and some of the different managers now. They change things. So I think, the cultural difference in football is quite important for all managers and coaches. So I think I've enjoyed looking at it, and the staff certainly have, and doing the homework on it, the analysis, and then coming and absorbing it, in different countries, different ways of playing, and all that comes with it.
And which games of FC Utrecht do you saw?
Our analysis team put together a kind of package, of different games. So it's not so we saw the 20 game, but it's more about taking the images of what we think they do more often than not, rather than maybe a one-off, different games. But we watched the 20 game more or less from start to finish, just to get an idea on that one, I think it was. I think we know enough about them, but I think, like anything, I always impress upon the players that it comes down to our performance. And I think so far in this competition, they've been good performances, and I'm sure we're going to go and do that again.
And what do you have to be aware of?
Sorry?
Aware of FC Utrecht?
I'm not going to tell you that, am I? I'm not going to tell you the secrets that we think we've found. The one thing for sure, in this competition, we've found teams work hard. They're certainly got a group who, it looks to us, that are willing to work, willing to put, the hard yards in. So we've got to make sure that we're aware of that. But they have quality. All teams at this level have quality. But yeah, we think we've got ways that we can operate that can be effective.
Last question. Some people say this stadium has some English vibes. You said I only live in the Premier League. Does this stadium have English vibes?
Well, I don't know yet. People are not in it, but by a viewpoint, it's got the big tall stands. The open corners are probably slightly different, but it looks a good stadium to me. And I think I checked actually, because it's one of them stadiums that can be quite deceiving by the size of it and how it looks. But I think it's 23,000. It said something about that. But yeah, it looks a good stadium. I'm looking forward to having people in it. That's for sure.
Thanks.
Any more questions, Sarah?
Sean, just how much of a target is it to be in that top 8 and potentially miss out on extra games?
The target at the moment is to have that clear view of winning games, performing and winning games. It's not, you can't guarantee that alone. You can't just, I've never been looking at we're going to do this and we're going to do that. The next one's the most important one. So I've made sure the players are aware of that. We've parked the last one in the league, that is, and move on to this one. If you take care of yourself by winning games, then the rest of it falls into place.
James, just a few for you, if that's all right. You've sat there and not had any yet. So just how have you found your time at Forest so far?
Well, it's obviously been a slow start, but I knew what I was getting myself into. Obviously, the quality in the squad's so good. So, yeah, I'm just trying to keep my head down, work hard in training and trying to impress the gaffer.
I know you've said before that you were really keen for more game time, and it's something I guess that you just kind of have to work your way into, isn't it? Because there's, as you said, a lot of competition for places. You've got Morgan potentially ahead of you in competing for that same spot.
Yeah, you basically said it really, but like I was saying, I'm just trying to keep my head down, work hard, get my chances and try and impress it with them chances.
guess there's been a lot of change. You've only been here for a short period of time, but how have you dealt with all the ins and outs and the incomings and goings and everything that's been going on in the last few months?
What do you mean?
I guess in terms of the management, that you've had a few managers since you've been here. How have you dealt with all the changes?
Yeah, I don't think anyone at the club expected it, but it's been good. You get to learn off different managers. Obviously, the gaffer's come in. He's brought a different vibe. The team's bonding very well at the moment. So, yeah, it's been fun.
How have you found working with Sean? I know it's awkward because he's sat there
I can't
next to you,
believe that
but
question. Go on, mate.
No, it's been really good. Like I was saying before, he's bringing the team together. He's bringing energy to training, to games, and yeah, all the lads are behind him.
I guess it's getting that togetherness and that unity, isn't it, that's really important at the minute.
Yeah, like I said, trying to stick together, trying to listen to the gaffer, and trying to do what he wants us to do, and trying to express ourselves at the same time.
When you get those opportunities, how do you kind of put pressure on yourself to perform, to impress, or do you kind of cope with it in your own way, I guess?
Yeah, well, I'm still young, I'm still learning. Sometimes maybe I might put too much pressure on myself, but I think players like me need to go out there and enjoy it.